Hi, this is Julie Lubinsky. I am the web manager for the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. And I'd like to welcome you to our Live Better series with Dr. Dan. And we're, of course, going to be discussing the holidays. And he did pose a question to you, so I hope you both answered it. And we will start. And I would like to introduce Dr. Dan Gottlieb, who is our resident family therapist, and he also contributes quite a bit to our online community. So please feel free to join there and ask questions there if they weren't answered here on the web call, on the webinar. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Julie. So what are the holidays like for you?
I'm sorry, my phone cut out a little bit, so repeat your question.
What are the holidays like for you? Oh, I heard a big sigh.
Yeah, because it's always hard. I have two daughters, and they are teenagers. So it's always a challenge to keep them happy, whether it's the Santa coming or making sure that my older daughter has a boyfriend, so we have to make sure that she has somewhere to go, and then we make sure we have enough room at the house for everybody that wants to come and stay over. And also I live in Pennsylvania, so we're also dealing with weather and what may come for that. Like our lovely Thanksgiving snow.
Now you say you've got two daughters, both of whom are teenagers.
Yes.
And you remind me of a bumper sticker I once saw that said, "Mental illness is inherited. You get it from your kids."
You know what? That's funny, but I don't get them from my kids. I'm already that way. So they get it from me, if anything. But it's always it's fun. I love my family, and did Eileen and Margaret answer your question that you posed?
Yeah, and Margaret is asking if she can just unmute.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Please, both of you everybody who's on the audio and on the web portion, please unmute. This is open conversation, so I'd love to hear your voices. Let me know, Margaret, when you've unmuted.
Margaret, how do they unmute?
Lavriel, do they unmute with, is it #6? I think it's #6 or *6.
Okay.
But I will.
So we've got the final answer for you.
Presenters?
Yes.
Did you hear me? I was saying that they actually have to dial into the audio portion in order to have the ability to speak at all.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought I have the web portion audio on.
All right. You type in the number?
Okay. Hang on, I just got to pull it up.
Hey, everyone. Here, you have to dial in a number. Delete previous two words. The number above, and then the three of us can talk about whatever you like. Here. Okay, Julie?
Yes, I am here.
Okay. So one says, I don't know if this is Margaret or Eileen. Margaret says that one of them says, the holidays were very stressful, and they were stressful before my paraplegia. Yeah, and if it was stressful before your spinal cord injury, not likely to make it better, although frankly it does sometimes. You know, people drop their storylines and their masks, and they can be more compassionate, but often it goes, sadly, in the other direction. And our other visitor says, give me a sec.
Presented, you do have a participant dialed in, and your line is open.
Thank you.
Hello? Who's there with us? Margaret?
Hi. Yes, this is Margaret. I just now called in.
Yay! Hi, Margaret.
Yay! Hi.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Aurora, Colorado.
Ah.
Boy.
So, tell us about this family of yours.
Well, it's not just my family. I have a bunch of friends who all know that I had a spinal stroke 2 years ago, but a couple of them during the summer even invited me to their house for parties or something like that, and I called my daughter and I said, well, do they have a ramp there for me? And she says, probably not. So I said, well, how can they even invite me over then? I would think that if I'm invited to something that they would have the facility for me, but I guess they don't. It's just, I don't know. I'm just kind of mixed up, I guess, on the subject.
Well, tell me what happens to you. Are you confused, angry, off-put?
Well, I'm actually kind of angry.
Yep.
Because they usually call me or ask me to come over if it's their kids' parties. And I'm thinking that maybe the kids just want presents or something. I know I need to get over that because I'm not normally that type of person. But when it comes to my, being handicapped, it would be really nice if they would say, we have a ramp here for you. It would be so nice to see you. So
my feeling was that of anger also. And, anger is a normal, healthy, natural reaction to unfairness. Yeah. When we're watching injustice or it's happening to us,
right.
That's how we react, is anger at their insensitivity. Yeah. And unfortunately, here's our job, Margaret, yours, mine, all of us with disabilities and our caregivers. A colleague of mine, when I was in great despair, put her hand on my shoulder and looked at me and said, Dan, like it or not, you're a teacher now.
That's right. I guess I have to remember that too.
Yeah, and, we are teachers. No matter what we do or say, we're teachers. So if we withdraw and say nothing, we teach them something. If we get angry and indignant, we're teaching something. And we could... Go on.
I don't want to be angry and indignant. I replied to their invitation just saying that I didn't think that logistics were in place for me to attend their party, and I was very sorry that I couldn't come.
Are you? Are you sorry?
I sort of was, because I kind of wanted to go because there were other friends there that I wanted to see. But
Go on.
yeah, I
But
think
what?
I was sorry.
You would have liked to have gone.
Yes, I would have.
Okay, and you did find out that their house was not wheelchair accessible?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What's involved in getting in, do you know?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
What's involved in getting into the house?
They have steps. They have
Multiple.
about six or seven steps,
Oh.
and that's almost. I mean, they're regular house steps, and not the small ones where, like, if I had asked for help, they could have like lifted the chair up. This would have been extremely hard to do.
Okay.
Well, I had a motorized chair, so that in itself is like 400 some odd pounds, I believe.
Great. And
So
here's what happens. You could make a choice as to politely decline, or you can politely decline and tell them why without righteous indignation or inducing guilt.
yes,
And I don't know what you're comfortable with. It depends on the relationships,
right. Well, I understand that. Yeah.
So, what's your inclination? What would you be inclined to do with these folks?
Well, all I wanted to say was that the logistics were not right, and I would hope that they would understand from that if they had a ramp, I could get there. But there wasn't even a response to that at all.
Oh.
So I figured, well, that's okay. Apparently they aren't real close friends like I had thought they would be, because there was no reply.
Yeah. You're relatively new.
I'm sorry?
Did you say 2 years?
Yes. It was in November of 2012.
Yeah. So it's just 2 years. It's pretty new. Sounds like an awful lot of this stuff is new to you. Have you found that many of your friends have drifted away?
I think I've tended to isolate myself more than my friends drifting away. I don't know.
Oh, come on.
No, I really don't know.
What's your guess?
I'm sorry?
What's your guess?
I don't know. I would like to explore that sometime, because I'll even kind of shut my sisters off, from spending time with me. I actually just prefer to, do things with myself, be on the computer or something like that. So I don't know I know it's definitely me. It's not them.
Yeah. Hey, Margaret.
But, yeah.
Margaret, tell us a little bit about your mood.
My mood?
Yeah. How are you feeling about your life?
I'm not real pleased with it.
That's what you're not. Let me push you a little, may I?
Yeah.
Can I press a little bit, Margaret?
Yeah.
Okay. If I go too far, you can just tell me that I've gone too far. You wouldn't be the first.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So when you say you're not too thrilled with your life, that says what you're not feeling about your life. Tell me how you do feel about your life. So it's got to be on the negative side, huh? those feelings?
Well, as a result of my injury 2 years ago, I was already over the age of retirement. And I was just going to keep working until the president of the company retired, which is going to be like in another couple of years. So as a result, I lost my income. I'm relying only on Social Security. And that's about it. So it basically boils down to finances and my being worried 24 hours a day about where my next little bit of income is going to come from.
So
that's pretty much occupying my thoughts all the time.
Okay. What's the emotion that goes with that? Anger, fear, resentment?
Oh, fear, depression, and I am on medication for that.
What do you take?
There's a lot of fear. I'm sorry?
A lot of fear, of course.
Oh, yes.
What are you taking?
I'm taking, oh, God.
Well, it doesn't matter. Here's the deal, Margaret. I mean, medication obviously helps, but it's not an answer.
Okay. I'm taking venlafaxine, 225 milligrams a day. It's Effexor.
Yeah. So, listen, here's what has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Depression is a brain disorder.
I know.
And a lot of things cause it, including genetics, environment, or trauma. We know about your trauma. The problem is, because it's a brain disorder, it affects not just your mood, but your thinking, your worldview, your outlook, your ability to experience joy and hope.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can't think clearly about your possibilities and your options. Every time I've been depressed, and I've experienced it, major depressions 3 times in my life. Every time I've been depressed, any option I could find for myself was ugly, was negative. So
yes.
as far as I'm concerned, if we can find a way to deal with your trauma, to deal with your depression, things will settle down. The fire, the intensity will come out of your fear. You know, I don't want to minimize the stresses in your life, of course.
Right.
But it's so hard to see through this with the depression. Now, I don't know, where in Colorado were you?
Just outside of Denver.
Oh. So I don't know if you're in therapy or how you feel about therapy, but, geez, there's an awful lot of good people in Denver.
Well, I know. I realize that. I made contact with a gentleman at Craig Hospital when I was there, and we talk periodically.
There is something called mindfulness-based cognitive therapy.
Right.
And it's got the best track record of all the therapy. Yeah. And what it asks you to do, or what it trains the brain to do, is to experience your life just as it is right now, without judgment, with open-hearted curiosity. Because all fear is about the future.
Yes.
And the kind of fear you're describing is the stories we tell ourselves about the future. And
what is that called again?
it's a mindfulness-based, let's just leave it at that, a mindfulness-based psychotherapy.
Right. Okay.
And there are great people for that in Denver.
Yes.
And if you want some help with that, email me or contact me through the web page.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
And I'll do some homework for you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, don't go away, though.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
I
I don't have any place to go right now.
You what?
I don't have any place to go right now, so I'm going to be here.
Right. So, I'm sorry to hear that. So we've got Tim on the line. I think Tim, I just want to know if I can have Tim's permission to read what he said, because a lot of what you said sounds like what Tim has to say. Margaret. Tim, if you're there, why don't you join the conversation? I don't know if you're there or not. And what do we do to unmute here?
We are.
All lines are unmute.
Thank you.
And has Timothy called in, do we know? Do we know if Timothy's called in?
There is an additional participant that has dialed in.
Okay. All right. Timothy, if you're there, I'd love to chat with you. All right. Julie?
Yep.
So you're there, and I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable repeating what Tim said in the chat without his permission. Or even, what he said is, pardon?
Yeah, I was hoping maybe Tim could put in the chat box giving us permission. If not,
let me say this to Tim, and to a certain extent, to you, Julie, and repeat some of what I said to Margaret. Hold on a sec. Had to take a drink. So, depression is very often a byproduct of a trauma, especially a spinal cord injury. And symptoms of depression, even though the word depression suggests a depressed mood, you don't have to.
You don't need it.
Are you there, Timothy? I heard a male voice. I'm guessing it's not Eileen or Margaret. Or Julie. Timothy, do we hear you? I think we're having some mechanical problems. So, Julie?
yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he's using an assistive device that is cutting in and out. So, Tim, we could hear you if you want to try calling back in, or if you can use the web chat as well, because Tim, we'd love to hear from you.
So anyway, Julie, I was telling you about depression, and a classic symptom of depression is when we isolate ourselves. And, we're social animals, We live and die based on relationships. It's in our hard wiring. It's in our primordial brains, We need to be with people, and being alone over long periods of time is actually toxic. So there's got to be something going on in our brains that we tend to isolate. I did it right after the accident, and it wasn't all depression that had me doing it, Julie. A lot of it was shame and discomfort, kind of like what, Margaret and I began talking about. It's, if everybody saw how needy and dependent and broken I was, they wouldn't be my friend anymore. I mean, that's the story I told myself. As ridiculous as it sounds, but, I grew to believe it. So, I isolated because of shame. But you can see where there's depression in there, fear and depression. So that's a key sign of a key symptom of depression. But, the research shows, Julie, that medication works very well for major depressions. Like when you literally can't get out of bed. Medication works very, very well for that. But for severe depressions, and it works very well for moderate depressions. But for any depression, the combination of psychotherapy and medication is what works best. And I got to tell you, Julie, I just read some research the other day that showed that, I talked about mindfulness-based therapy. Mindfulness-based therapy in groups, if you can have one near your community, works far more effectively than anything. So, those of us who get depressed or, at risk for getting depressed, and I know I do this, Julie, where if I start to feel those first symptoms of depression coming on, I'm all over it, because it's awful, depression. It's just awful. It's like carrying an extra 500-pound weight on your back. It's just awful. So please treat it as something that's urgent and get it taken care of. So I guess that's what I would have to say to Timothy, and I guess to Margaret also. What got me thinking about the holidays, Julie?
The fact that all the stores put out their stuff before Halloween for Christmas?
Yes. That's what does it. No, I'll tell you what got me thinking about it. It's like I said, I go places, it's really crowded, and I can't get around well, and I don't go into I can't go into stores now. And, I don't love it anyway, but I literally can't get in because they put so much crap in the aisles that I can't get around. So talk about isolation, it's kind of forced isolation. Not that I really miss going into stores. But, so I was thinking about all that stuff and, also being Jewish, that as a kid I felt like an outsider during the holiday. And that gets highlighted, around the holidays as a quadriplegic now. And then, Julie, did you see the, damn it, I knew I was going to block on his name. Stephen, the movie about the physicist with ALS. Help me with his name.
Oh, yeah, Stephen Hawking, the new movie Stephen.
Yeah, did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
There was a scene there, and as he began to deteriorate, sitting around a table, and he couldn't quite get the spoon in his mouth, as he was having more difficulty feeding himself. And he's sitting there. I'm not giving anything away here, just one scene. He's sitting there and just watching hands move and fingers move and people pouring a wine bottle or laughing as they bring a fork up to their mouths, just really narrowly focused on all these muscles that are moving when his can't. And he left that table and trying to pull himself up on the steps, but he couldn't. But just that image of him looking through the banister at those people, his people, being so different than him, or him being so different from them. And I remember that moment, and it was just so painful that all of a sudden, I'm different from my people. These are my people, It was excruciating remembering that moment. So, it's funny that comes up. When did I see the movie? Sunday. I saw the movie Sunday because the Eagles weren't playing, so I didn't have the opportunity to aggravate myself in front of a TV. So Eileen came in with something. Eileen said she prefers not to call and speak. Well, here's the opposite side. Her daughters avoided holidays and gatherings despite promises made. She talks about her daughter who's got issues. Eileen, I hope that's okay that I can say that. So she's got a daughter with issues, and she says, oh, okay. She says, I can read it. I'm interested now my daughter, who is an addict, can eventually be comfortable again in our family. She has avoided holidays and gatherings despite promises made. Sorry if it's off topic of physical disability issues. Well, dear Eileen, it's not off topic. The only difference between the issues with your daughter and the issue I described is stainless steel. It's the same issue. It's feeling different. And, I talked, about feeling ashamed. Or, I also felt angry at people who didn't help me or didn't understand me when I desperately needed. So, what's the difference between her and me? I don't know if you can have a conversation with her, but gee, she knows better than I do how she can be comfortable again in your family. And I certainly wouldn't have that conversation around the holidays, because that's when the intensity is, the anxiety, the expectations, all that stuff. But outside of the holiday, ask her what it's like for her to come back. Why she doesn't. Is it about fear or anger? What are the emotions that keep her from being comfortable? but make sure you listen to her for a long time before you offer any comments. And I'll tell you why. Because all of us humans, all of us, want to be understood for who we are. You do. Margaret does. Timothy does. So, and God knows I do. So does your daughter. So ask her what it's like to be her. Ask her what it's like to carry her history. What it's like when she thinks about reconnecting with her family. What are the emotions? And then after you've listened, respond without judgment. But you can tell her how her story made you feel. After she's comfortable that you understand her, you can tell her what it's like for you to be her mother. And something that's not often talked about is the trauma of parents, families, when they learned that their loved one is an addict. My daughter has been in AA for 18 or 20 years. She's been sober for that long. And, I watch her. We were at dinner a few months ago, and I was watching her. Her eyes were drooping, and I thought, oh, my God, she's using it. And the poor woman was exhausted. But that's what gets triggered in me. So, we have to talk about our feelings, our sadness, our helplessness, our grief, our great love for our children. So, something just happened. So anyway, I'd like to see you have that conversation. And I hope you understand now that it's not at all off topic. So I hope it was helpful. Please come back in the chat here and tell us if it was helpful. If not, what else I can do, how else I can help. Timothy, I see that you're saying you'd like to contribute, but you can't yet because of confidentiality. I'm really sorry about that. And same thing I said to Eileen. I hope my comments were helpful to you, and whether they were or not, give me a shout here in the chat box and tell me. Margaret, are you still on the phone? Yeah, that was the sound I thought I heard. Okay. Julie, do we have you?
I am still here.
Okay. So I don't know where we are now. It's too bad because both Eileen and Timothy are unable to have a conversation with us, and I think it'd probably be helpful for everyone involved, but both of them are in places where they can't contribute. So, it looks like Margaret hung up. She just said, thank you.
I'm still here.
You're still there. Well,
I'm here, yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I appreciate your comments. Let me share with you what Timothy said. Yes, I want to. I'm working towards it, though. I don't know what happened to my thing here. It's cutting off the first word here. Eileen said, yes, that's helpful, thanks. She's presently in treatment in Florida. She's been in many treatments, which is not unusual. She's not coming home from the holiday, but you're going to go visit her down there. I'm taking your comments to heart, and we'll try to understand and accept her. So that's all we can do for each other. You know, we want people to understand that we have a disability, but it's not who we are. I have quadriplegia. I am not a quadriplegic. I am a person with all sorts of labels, and quadriplegia is one of them. Same with your daughter, Eileen. You know, she has a illness called substance abuse. She is not an addict. She has an illness called substance abuse that she struggles with. So, I mean, you know, I don't know where you are, but my radio show, you can look up my webpage. My radio show, this coming Monday, it's on Philadelphia's NPR affiliate. This coming Monday is about desire and when it's good and when it's bad, especially around the holidays, you know. But the next show is when desire goes haywire and it turns to addiction. And we're going to be talking about new research and new interventions with addiction. So just for your information, you might want to tune in. So Timothy says, I'd like to contribute, but I can't confidentially. He says, I want to, working towards it, though. And then he says, I will by next time, boss. So that can be dangerous, Timothy, calling me boss. So ask my girlfriend. Well, that's not quite right because that's what I call her. So, and he also says he enjoys the hell out of our sessions together. And that's a great way to end because I enjoy the hell out of these sessions too. And I hope Margaret and Eileen, you did also, and always hope that for you, Julie.
Yes, they have been getting to know everybody that call in and listening to them is so wonderful that they have the opportunity to speak with you, Dan. So I thank you for your time.
Of course, no, I enjoy it. I love humans, and I love all of us when we're all vulnerable. You know, it's the way we get close to one another. And Julie, by the way, I gave a TED talk since we last spoke.
Yes, how did that go?
It went very well, and it's online now.
Okay, so we should go to your website.
Yeah, it's on there.
Dan Gottlieb, drdangottlieb.com.
Yep. Yep.
Great.
Okay.
Great. I will go there, and I will make sure that we have that TED Talk link on our Facebook page.
It's not great video yet, but it's still just a live feed, so it's not great video. The better video will come out
Oh, okay. All right.
in January. But even, you know, the audio's fine. So you see, I mean, you're the web person, so take a look, see if it's worth putting on, or if you want to wait.
Well, and so we will also hold another month, our online discussion next month after the New Year.
Actually, after the New Year is the 7th. Maybe I might need to change the time or the day because I leave on my own mindfulness retreat. Let me see.
So all the callers, they should check back on ChristopherReeve.org on the homepage of event listings, and I'll have the next webinar listed there so everybody can sign up.
Okay.
And also, if our callers, our participants could also check out our online community and go to the Dr. Dan section, Healing the Heart and Mind, and in his monthly discussions, he definitely will take requests on what topic you would like to speak about. going forward.
Thank you.
And I just want to, thank you. And happy holidays, happy New Year, and I hope you all can join us again and let us know how your holidays went, Margaret. I'm hoping that you get out to see some friends, and Timothy, definitely hope that when you can participate with us next month and actually call in, because I definitely want to hear your voice, and Eileen, you too as well, and good luck with your daughter as well, Eileen.
Oh, well said. Thank you so much for those comments, Julie. They were very sweet.